Good morning, everybody. We are on day 4 of the 5-day Ballet Abs challenge, and you're all doing amazingly well. Some of you have already done day 4's workout, which is very impressive. If you're starting to feel, because now it's day 4, I don't know if I can make it today, and tomorrow it's Friday, so I like to give myself the day off on a Friday, and I've got until Sunday, so I'll catch up then. No, I want you to experience what it's like to exercise daily. I want you to try and do 5 days on the trot. If you started late, then fair enough, but you've got those extra days to catch up. But try not to give yourself a day off. You've just got 2 more days to do. And today's workout is using that core strength to move more dynamically. So we're still on the mat, but we're starting to move the body a little bit more using that core strength to control it. So if you're watching now, give me a wave, let me know you're there. And if you're watching this on the replay and you have any questions once I'm done, then please let me know. But today I'm talking about posture. And of course, poor posture can contribute to weaker abdominals. And there are studies that have shown about 70% of us, 70% of us have really poor posture, which is astonishing, really. And of course, poor posture is it makes us look heavier than we are. And it can also make the stomach look much bigger than it actually is. It doesn't make us feel that great having poor posture because you don't walk confidently into a room if you have poor posture. So focusing today on why that happens. For busy women, it's a combination of things. If you have a desk job, of course, sitting for long periods of time contributes to poor posture. When you've had a baby and you've got a young toddler and we find ourselves in all these odd positions, holding the baby while trying to do something else, pushing a buggy with this sort of posture, constantly holding a young child on our hip. So there are lots of things that we go through in our day-to-day life that do contribute to that poor posture, and we don't even realise we're doing it sometimes. So what is poor posture? Well, I'm going to step back so you can see. If comments start coming and you can't see my body, just swipe to the side and they should go. But poor posture, the most common posture is when people are sitting into their hips. And by that I mean that if you're standing up, so this is standing up straight, poor posture sitting into the hips. When we sit into the hips like that, which so many of us do, the tummy just sticks out. So we're not engaging our tummy muscles at all to lift the posture. So sitting into the hips and just letting the abdominals go. So you can see why we're sort of putting more pressure through the abdominal wall and we're not strengthening it at all. That then means that the lower back starts to curve and it's shortening the spine. So that also contributes to lower back issues. This position also tightens up the back of the legs. So if you're suffering with tight hamstrings and you know you've got poor posture, then improving your posture is going to help to alleviate that, because the hamstrings are constantly on high alert because you're pulling forwards this way. The shoulders then curl forwards into this position, which can then contribute to some discomfort between the shoulder blades up here. The neck might come forwards, which is quite common. It's sad to see this in children now, but on screens, lots of people looking at their mobile phones, they tend to be in that position, which then gives us strain through the neck and the shoulders, and we get tight in that area. So this is the most common standing position. Also, we tend to sit into one hip and stand like this, especially if we have small children, because we balance them there while we're doing something else. So that also, can contribute. So what we need to try and do is lift up out of the hips. So if you're used to standing like this, we need to lengthen this part of the spine by lengthening out of the hips. So you do need to engage your abdominal muscles and try and think of finding space between the hips and the ribs. So you're lengthening and lifting out rather than shortening, bringing the rib cage down. So you need to try and get some space between the hips and the rib cage by engaging the stomach and feeling like you're lifting out of the hips. Bring the weight a little bit further forwards onto the balls of the feet so that you're not back on the heels and thrusting through the hips, but you're a little bit more forwards so there's length at the back of the legs and lifting up out of the hips. Relaxing the ribs down. What helps if you imagine your spine, because obviously you've got the vertebrae, as a sort of string of pearls, and if you were to hold that string at the top, there would be an even gap between each of those pearls hanging down, and that's how you need to sort of visualise the spine. If you're doing this to the spine, then of course all those pearls are coming together at certain points in that curve. So by lifting up and lengthening, you're creating length in the spine and a gap between those pearls. If that helps to trying to visualise what's going on. Also standing on both legs. So if you find yourself waiting in the post office queue, waiting to pay for groceries, anything like that, and you're standing like this, try to focus on placing the weight evenly between both feet. And it's better to be on both feet and kind of shuffling. I know you might look a bit mad, but that's not the intention. But if it's uncomfortable to stand on both feet lifted, you can just sort of move about a little bit more, but try not to just sink and sit like this, because that causes issues as well, and tightness in the hips. In terms of the upper body, the arms and the shoulders do start in the back. So the shoulder blades here, which I call wings, they need to be pulled down, not so that you feel strain in the shoulders, but try not to just let them lift and open up and sort of come into this posture. You need to pull them back and down into the back, so that your shoulders are nice and relaxed and they're not pinching at the front. So you're nice and wide through the collarbones here as well. Think about when you're lifting out of the hips and you're thinking of your spine as that string of pearls and lengthening the spine. Also think about, often I talk in class about lifting your ears towards the ceiling. If I say grow towards the ceiling, that happens. So the chest lifts and people's chin lifts. But if you think more about the ears lifting towards the ceiling, then it does provide more length in the neck and more length in the spine as well. So those are some tips on how to improve that posture if you know you're guilty of that sitting in the hips forwards or to the side. It does take some practice, but if you can just consciously a few times a day, when you know that you're going to be standing, hanging around, waiting in the playground, waiting in a queue somewhere, that you can just do a little body scan and just be mindful for the rest of this week how you're standing, even if that just means that you become aware of where the posture has gone a little bit wrong, so that going forwards you can try and implement or put into practice those top tips so that you can improve the posture. Of course, as the abdominals strengthen, it becomes easier to hold the posture there because you've got a stronger core. So it's a bit of both. It's strengthening the core at the same time as being more mindful of the posture is really, really going to help, particularly if you're suffering with lower back niggles, which I know, at our age, that is happening. So there are things that you can do to change that. And once you change your posture, once you have good posture, it just gives you so much more confidence. It gives you more energy. It really, really does. And it also optimizes your breathing, because your body, if you're slumped like this, the diaphragm is being constricted. If you're standing correctly, your breathing is much easier, and so the oxygen's getting around the body as well. So, so many benefits for good posture. So put those into practice. We are obviously working this week on toning the abdominals, strengthening the abdominals, and so that is going to help you to sort your posture out as well. If you spend long periods of time sitting at a desk, or just sitting generally, hi Nikita, then that is putting a lot of pressure through the spine. We're not meant to sit. Human beings are meant to move. We're supposed to be running around everywhere and being active with our bodies. We are not meant to be sat for long periods of time. So if you do have a job which means, like a 9 to 5 or beyond, my husband's really guilty of this. He works incredibly long hours in the city and his posture is pretty poor. But, I feel like his mum sometimes, stand up straight. But your mum was right. You do need to stand up straight. But if you are sat, try and get up every hour, move about. We should be trying to drink up to 8 glasses of water a day. Anyway, if you are doing that, you're going to need to go to the toilet, which is going to get you up and moving. So drink more water, which will mean you need to go to the loo, which means you're moving your body. Otherwise, when you are sitting, try to sit on your sitting bones. So if you sit down, they're the bones in your bottom that if you wiggle about, you can feel the bones. So you won't be sat back. If you're sat down on this padded area here, you need to be sat up tall on the sitting bones. So lengthening. And we have done that in these ab workouts, sitting on the floor right on top of those sitting bones. And so if you sit there, the spine will be a bit longer if you're right on top of those sitting bones. If you know that this is you, you can also get those sort of wedge-shaped cushions that you can put behind your lower back, just until you the abdominals start to strengthen enough so that you feel comfortable to hold it in that position. Because I know lots of people say, but it just feels so uncomfortable to sit like that. It just doesn't feel natural to me at all. Well, it won't do if you've been sat like that for a long period of time. So get a cushion for some support, so that you feel contact between your body and that cushion or the back of the chair. So those are my top tips for being seated. Hi, Chrissy. It's me all over, especially with a well-formed 1-year-old on my hip. Struggle with my hips and back just holding her. Does using a hippie chick help? Seat for baby on hip belt. I have no idea what a hippie chick thing is. Presumably the child is seated at the front. If it was seated at the side, that would not be good. I can't help with that, Chrissy, because I don't know what it is. I mean, it is difficult. It is difficult. I had my daughter, she's 9 now, but when she was born, she was big. She was a very big baby, and I remember all my friends with the little papoose and the tiny little baby and going about their daily lives. And if I put her in one of those things, I was just done after like an hour. My back was killing me. She was just too heavy for my body. So it really depends on you, your body, your strength, whether you do have back issues. If you do, then the less carrying of child, the better. I did struggle with that because she wouldn't go in the buggy either. My daughter's lovely, but she was very, very difficult when she was younger. She wouldn't go in the buggy. She wanted to be carried, but I would just have to deal with the screaming with her in the buggy because my body wasn't strong enough at that point to be carrying her, and it was hurting my body, at which point I was like, no, this isn't happening, into the buggy. But it's a battle. I know it's a battle, and sometimes we just have to do what we need to do. So I can't help with that one because I don't know what that is, but Nikita, I struggle with my back and left knee, so I'm all slouching or leaning to one side. Plus I work 8 till 6 in front of a computer. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really common, Nikita. So many of us, I had a corporate job for years. I danced from the age of 2. I was always dancing, but I was a lawyer for 10 years in the city in a corporate law firm. I worked very, very long hours. I struggled to get to the gym. I struggled to run anything because my hours were so unpredictable. And my body hurt so badly, so badly. And at the time, I was just too busy to really pay any attention to what was going on. And you just go on autopilot. If I were to rewind now and go back, I would be much better equipped to deal with it. But again, drinking the water, which we need to be doing anyway, is going to get you up. But you can also set an alarm on your phone, like to go off every hour or every hour and a half, just to remind you that you need to get up from your desk, because we can become so engrossed when we're busy with our work that we do actually forget to move. And that reminder on the phone can be, get up, have a walk around, go and refill your glass or your water bottle. Do some stretches at your desk, which you can do. There are ab workouts you can do at your desk as well. But just as a reminder to keep moving. I find the hip seat does help stay straighter. Oh, well, that's helpful, Jen, if you know what that hip seat is. With the Lorraine, hi Lorraine. With the abs workout, the tops of my legs have been aching, plus the lower back a bit. Is this because I'm not engaging my core properly? It doesn't matter that it's not a posture question, that's fine. The tops of your legs, that's your hip flexors. And so those are the muscles that help to bring the leg up here. So if you are not used to using those muscles, because we have been using those, and I tend to use the legs and the lower body a little bit more in my abs workouts, because they are better exercises for strengthening the deeper core than the usual crunches that you possibly used to at the gym. So I prefer to work the other way. And yes, that does work the legs. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people I know have been experienced clunking. I get that. Some of my clients get that. It's just a tightness in the hip flexor and it's like catching, which sounds awful, but if there's no pain, don't worry about it. If you've got clunking, that's just possibly a case of going to see a sports therapist, a deep tissue specialist who can massage that tension out to stop the clunking. I go once a month for that. It's not comfortable, but it's worth it. So the hip flexor discomfort is perfectly normal. That will ease off. The lower back, two things. You could be right, yes, it might be because the abdominals are still a little bit weak, and you know, this is 5 days straight, even though it's 10 minutes, they're challenging these workouts, they're high intensity, and so that might be causing the back, you know, just a little bit of discomfort because the abdominals are not quite there yet. Also, it could be though that you're starting to recruit the back muscles when you're doing the abs workouts. So when you're lying flat, and I'm saying, you know, keep the back down, if the back is popping a little bit off the floor, then those muscles are going to start to be used, and that's when they start to get sore. So if you think that's happening, focus more on keeping the lower back down on the floor, and you know, not lowering the legs as low, keep them lifted. The V-sit, the V-sit has caused a bit of a thing. That V-sit is challenging, absolutely is. Some people will be able to do it the first time, other people it will feel like a complete joke. So look at my post yesterday. I posted a video of one of my backstage members, Erin, who when she first did the challenge last year, she said that felt like a joke. I just laughed, I didn't even attempt it. And now she's doing it and she's finding it very easy. But there are adjustments for those V-sits. Please, if you have lower back discomfort, you know, and you've got to be honest with yourself about your body's capabilities. If you know your abdominals are a little bit weak at this point, you should not be attempting to come up into that V position from lying down. Absolutely not. You should be coming from a seated position and tipping the body back and lifting the legs. If lifting the legs feels like a joke, then just tip the body back. That will still engage the abdominals and you can hold it there. If you can get the legs up but you can't hold it there, take the hands down and see if that works. Try and do it for 2 counts instead of 8 counts. So adjust as you need to support the back. It's really, really important that you connect with the body and learn where you are at with these workouts, because they can all be adapted. But you just need to, I can't tell you how you're feeling. You know how you're feeling. So go with your gut instinct with these moves. So take the adjustments that I've given and use those. So I hope that helps, Lorraine. You're probably not doing anything wrong at all, so don't worry about that. It's just muscles that aren't used to being used and just perhaps a little weakness. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Chrissy, still struggle with the weight of the baby and the belt pulling around too. Yeah, get her walking. That's loads of fun when they start walking. Yeah. Walking with kids, I was really keen to get my daughter walking for exactly the same reason, and she did walk at 9 months, thank God. But then she just wanted to walk and go her own direction, which was equally frustrating, and then really didn't want to get in the buggy. But with children, talking about the core, this is going off on a tangent slightly, it is important that children crawl. So if they're crawling, or if they were sort of late to crawl, don't be too quick to try and get them to walk, because crawling in children really helps to strengthen the slings across the body at the front, because it's this movement. Because my daughter walked early at 9 months, she hadn't spent very long crawling. And so as she's got older, she is very tall for her age as well. Her posture is pretty poor because she hasn't built up the strength in these slings here from crawling when she was younger. So we did a lot of rock climbing with her when she was younger. She now does my ballet fitness classes to strengthen up the core, because of course when you're tall and you've got shorter friends, you tend to do this as well. So so if you've got girls, so babies, crawling is great. If you have older girls, 9, 10, 11, who are very tall, then you need to be reminding them, as your mother probably did, to stand up straight, and they'll hate you for it, but they will thank you later. The problem with girls, and I teach that age group now, is that if they're tall, as I say, they tend to sink here because they're trying to just get to the same height as their friends. They don't want to feel like they're different. But also when they start to develop, they then start to do this as well. So the whole thing starts to come down. So just if you have daughters of that age, just have a look at their posture, just see what they're doing, see if you can start to see those changes, and just remind them that they're beautiful, that they should be confident and proud of their body and stand tall, because otherwise they are going to end up with back issues later. Again, I've gone off on a tangent. Lorraine, I do yoga twice a week, so my core should be better, but I've got a cold this week, so not feeling my best. Yeah, I know, Lorraine. That's great that you're doing yoga. Yoga's really good as well for the mind, to calm things down. If you're not feeling well this week, just do what you can, and please, there's a post coming in this group later actually about this. Focus on what you can do this week. I don't want people being negative and saying, but I can't do this, I can't do that. You've all shown up, you've all signed up for this, step 1, and you've taken part, step 2. That is not, in my book, failure or a lack of ability to do something. That is amazing, because you've made the step, you've moved forwards, and you're actually doing it. You're never going to turn your hand to something new and be able to do it straight off the bat, ever. And life would be boring if you could. So just focus on what you can do, and each time improving. Michelle, my coccyx really hurts after coming off a slide. It's soft play. Is there some kind of cushioning we could use to make it a bit easier? Yeah, absolutely. Depends how bad your coccyx is. If you've bruised the coccyx badly, Michelle, I wouldn't be attempting any of these exercises where you were having to sit on it. I really wouldn't. Tomorrow you'll be okay because we're standing tomorrow. But I just wouldn't. It's so painful. I've had that. It's the most painful thing. It makes you feel so sick. It depends how bad it is. If you can manage it, if it's not too bad, I would place a towel or a soft cushion, something that is fairly flat. If you've got a yoga mat, you can roll or fold the yoga mat to create some cushioning as well. A big cushion's not ideal, because if you sit on that you might fall off it. So you do need something that's quite flat, but squishy. So be creative, find something in your house that you can find the padding, there are yoga blocks and things that you can sit on that are comfortable as well, but if you don't have things to hand, you just need to be creative with what you've got at home. Chrissy, I adjusted my V-sit so I have my hands down. I'm doing toe taps to be in a position as similar but supporting me. Yeah, brilliant, Chrissy. That's exactly right. Just finding some alternative way of doing it that you're still getting the benefit and you're still feeling it in your core. That's absolutely brilliant. Hi, Joe. I love a V-sit. I felt such a difference in my lower abdominals in 4 days. I already have abs. Well done, you. But your workouts I love and have felt such a change. Oh, that's great. That's great, Joe. Thank you. That's really nice to hear. And yes, I think some people get confused with abs because you assume, oh, 6-pack. If I have abs, I want a 6-pack. It's for women post 35, into 40s and 50s. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a 6-pack. Yes, it would be nice to look ripped like all those models do in bikinis on the beaches. However, that's not what I'm about. That's not what my programs are about. Yes, if you want that, you can get it doing these workouts, but it is more about core stability appreciating your body and what you need to do to feel good. So to be pain-free, to be strong, to be able to, you know, when you have grandchildren later on, be physically able to do all the things that you want to do with them. So having strong abs, having those deep core muscles engaged to support the pelvis and the lower back is really important. So I'm really glad you found those. A donut ring, Chrissy. If you attempt it on a donut ring, can you please post a photo of that in a group? I had a donut ring after I'd given birth to my first child because I couldn't sit down. I had to sit on a donut ring. That's why I'm laughing at the donut ring. I don't know. You might fall through the middle of a donut ring. I don't know. Give it a go, but if you do, send us a photo. Any more questions? Tomorrow, for the workout tomorrow, we're on our feet, which is exciting. So you don't need the mat, get rid of that. Ideally, you'll be on a non-carpeted floor, but if you don't have one, that's fine. And we're on our feet. So we're going to try and put everything we've learned so far to engage those muscles to work on balance. Because after all, you know, what's the point of having strong abs if you're not going to use them? So we're going to be standing, so I can't wait for that. And tomorrow, I'm not live during the day tomorrow, but we do have the free workshop tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, the Motivation to Exercise workshop. So you do need to register for that one. And I'll be talking about all the secrets to getting motivated to exercise on a regular basis so that you can be consistent with your workouts and start to get the results you want, whatever those results look like for you. So if you can, register for that and come and join me. I will also, during that live, be talking about what you can do after these 5 days to continue working with me. I have a monthly membership called Backstage. And it's very like what we've done this week. There's a lot of content, but you're guided, you're handheld the whole way through. But we have a private members group. Only the members are allowed in that group. And I go live every week like this. It's an incredibly supportive, loving group of ladies, and everyone cheers each other on, and it really is a wonderful place to be. And I know people can say, well, you know, I'm just not going to get motivated to work out on my own at home. Well, if you've achieved it this week and you've enjoyed this group and the support of this group, that's exactly what it's like inside the membership. It's really lovely. Michelle, loving these workouts, feeling like it's working already. That's great. Who would have thought in 4 days that you'd have felt so much different? Jen, hi Jen. I've got to catch up with days 2, 3 and 4 today. Oh my word. I've skipped the gym this morning to do them instead. Excellent. 2, 3 and 4. Yeah. Go steady, Jen. Just see how you go. Maybe do 2 and 3 together, and then give yourself a break and see how you feel later to do 4. Wouldn't go all in. It depends how fit you are, I don't know. But go steady. Just remember, you do have the workouts until Sunday, Jen. So if you do need to do 2 today, 3 tomorrow, and 4 and 5 Saturday and Sunday, that would work. But if you've skipped the gym, then, you know, you might as well. So any more questions? If not, I'm going to hop off, and I will hopefully see you all tomorrow at the Motivation to Exercise workshop. You can ask me questions during that workshop as well. So if you've got any questions while we're talking about motivation specifically, then that's the time to ask those. If you've got any other questions about anything now, let me know about the challenge, about the workouts, how you're feeling, my Backstage membership, anything you want to ask, just pop that in the group. I'm around today, so I will ask those. Great. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day, and good luck tomorrow morning with the standing workout. Okay, ladies, speak to you later. Bye.